Welcome or welcome back to the Variety Pack podcast. I'm your host, Rashad, and today I wanted to talk about My Hero Academia. And I wanted to talk about season 6 in particular. So, but before we start, I want to tell you guys follow me on my Facebook at the Variety Pack Podcast. Follow me on my Instagram at the Variety Pack Podcast. Follow me on my Twitter at the Variety Pack Podcast. And follow me on my TikTok at Rashad the Variety Pack. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Okay, season 6, My Hero Academia. I don't want to waste no time with this, but I will acknowledge, like they say, it's better late than never, you know. But I recently just got back into My Hero Academia after watching season 5. So, yeah, I'm a little late on the draw, but I gotta say, man, if you want to talk about what's one of the greatest new gen anime arcs, you have to put My Hero Academia season 6 in there, man. You have to, because this arc was pure insanity. Do you hear what I'm saying? Pure insanity. I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of it. You know? So yeah, that's just my 2 cents when you talking about some of the best new gen arcs in anime. You have to put My Hero Academia season 6 in that conversation. It's just I loved it from start to finish, man. I loved it from start to finish. And yo, Shigaraki, man. His comeback, you know, his comeback was crazy. And the thing about it, he wasn't even fully ready to come back. He came back prematurely. He wasn't even ready to fully come back, man. And he comes back. And I heard somebody say, I heard a anime fan say, "Oh, this is one of the when you talk about pure destruction in anime." I heard one fan say, "Oh, this is on the level of when Pain destroyed the Leaf Village. When Shigaraki, he came back and he destroyed, I think it was called the Jakku City. He came back and destroyed Jakku City and the mountain. So he destroyed the mountain and he destroyed the city all in one swoop." I'm like, what? All he had to do was put his hand on the ground, and he just it was a wrap, you know. And so when you compare, you know, thinking about what the anime fan said, he was like, "Oh, when you think about Pain destruction and you think about Shigaraki, I gotta agree, man. It's this destruction of Jakku City, and yes, I definitely put that up there, you know." So yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And he came back with plenty of, you know, not just his main quirk, Decay. He came back. He has the Search, because you remember, All for One stole one of the heroes' quirks. I think her name was Ragdoll. So he has Search. He has radio waves. Like he has a lot of different quirks now. It's not just Decay. So yeah, Shigaraki, he's upped his game. He is upped his game significantly. So yeah, seeing his comeback was crazy. And then while he's doing all this, you have the doctor, the hype man, so to speak, in the background basically saying, oh, y'all heroes are done now because Shigaraki, he's back in the building. He even said, he even was like, oh yeah, this is plus ultra Shigaraki, like, so y'all are done. Y'all are done. So Shigaraki was, he was destroying the city, and in the background he had his hype man, the doctor, that's helped out All For One all these years. So he had him in the background, was like, yo, you heroes are done. Shigaraki, he's back. He's coming for the throne. So yeah, so that was crazy. Then you have Endeavor, he's first on the scene. Then you have Deku, then Bakugo. So you have all three of these guys, coming together to take on Shigaraki. And truth be told, from both sides, it was crazy because Shigaraki, he was just out there one man, and he was giving them the business. He was giving them the business. He even disrespected Endeavor. He had him down on the ground, and he stepped on him, and he did his pose. Cause you remember when Endeavor he defeated the Nomu when he was close to death. He did the one fist in the air pose, and I'm just like, and then Shigaraki he copied that. So I'm just like, that's disrespectful. That's extra disrespect. But so yeah, then you have Bakugo and Deku, supporting Endeavor, because, and one of the only reasons why Bakugo and Deku was even, because Deku even said, he was like, because Eraserhead, Bakugo and Deku's teacher, he took away Shigaraki's decay quirk, after he destroyed the city. So he took away his decay quirk to where Shigaraki he could only use his other quirks. He couldn't use decay because, Aizuin, aka Eraserhead, neutralized it. So that was one of the only way that Deku and Bakugo could really get in there and like really help, because with the decay, all you had to do was touch, and Shigaraki, he was trying to get one for all from Deku. So it's one of those things to where you have all three of these guys, doing their thing against Shigaraki, and plus the other heroes as supporting, like my girl, the rabbit girl, I forgot her name, but I know who I'm talking about. She came in clutch, doing her part, getting in the lab, fighting the Nomus off, trying to get to the doctor, and like I said, my man, Eraserhead, he neutralized Shigaraki's decay quirk. So yeah, then you have, Deku and Bakugo, but then Shigaraki, this dude, he comes back and he tries to get Eraserhead, hit him with tries to hit him with something that could take your quirk away. I forgot the name of it. A quirk bullet, where it takes your quirk away. He tries to hit Oswin with that. He does succeed, but Oswin, Eraserhead, he takes the he cuts off his own leg just so that he won't, be affected by the quirk bullet, so they could take his quirk away. So you have all of these guys working in tandem together to neutralize Shigaraki, and he's still holding it down. He's still holding it down, man. He's still holding it down. So that's that's what I'm like, yo, this man is a one-man wrecking crew. But then you also have, on the other side, you have the heroes doing their, teamwork. Like they say, teamwork make the dream work, baby. So you have all of these guys working together, and they're, they putting it on the line, dude. Because, they putting it on the line, man. Because when I first seen Eraserhead, when he willingly took his leg off just so he wouldn't be affected by the quirk bullet. That is, that's what you say, like, yo, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do what I gotta do, man. So I like that. Then you have the moment where Deku, he absolutely loses it, man. He loses it, and he just, lets his emotions, get the best of him. He loses it. He almost gets put out of commission, but that's where Bakugo comes through and hits him, and saves his ass. Bakugo, saves his ass. And before that, I believe Endeavor, he was able to set Shigaraki on fire, so Shigaraki was burnt to a crisp, and the only thing he could really do was try to attack him with those with the little spikes that come out of his body. And so yeah. And so Bakugo comes through, saves Deku. And so the first big confrontation with Shigaraki, I have to say, man, just all together, I enjoyed it, because you see on one side you have Shigaraki, he's one man wrecking crew basically. Then you have the team, the heroes, they're just busting their ass and pulling out every trick in the book to neutralize this guy. And you see, man, and then you have the big old giant dude that's working with Shigaraki, working with Shigaraki in the League of Villains. You have I think his name Gigamachio. Yeah, I think that's his name, Gigamachio, the big old giant dude, man. And he was literally running through cities. He was literally just running through cities to try to get to Shigaraki, because that's his master, and he needs orders to do what he needs to do. So he was just running to get to Shigaraki, and the heroes were trying to stop him. And so yeah. Then you have my man Best Genius. He comes back, and he comes back at a critical moment. And then and they was like, oh, we thought you were dead, da 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 da, or whatever. And nah, he came back because I had totally forgot about Best Genius, and I was like, huh? Then I was like, yo. So he came back critical in a critical moment, and I was like, yo, because he came back. He was the biggest uh component of restraining the big giant villain. So yeah, I like to see that, Best Genius coming back and doing his part, and his his fibers are very, 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 very strong. Like, and that's one of those unique quirks, like, the fibers, of genes. You have, now you turn them into a weapon. That's kind of unique. I like Best Genius, his quirk, man, because that's something you don't see every day, like, like fire or ice or whatever the case may be. So I like that. And yeah, Best Genius, he came back because, he kind of slipped my mind a little bit, if I'm being honest, but it was nice to see him. And and I remember, I think it was season 5, and he did all that work with Bakugo and everything, and really, really helped Bakugo a lot. So Best Genius, man, he one of those heroes that like I said, I forgot about him at first, but yeah, seeing in season 6, he definitely gained a little bit more of my respect. So yeah. And then Best Genius, he came back, and then we got another character that's very, very beloved in the My Hero community. My man Lemillion, he came back because you got Best Genius. He was there. He was at the end of his ropes almost. You got Deku. He was there. His limbs is noodles right now. You have, everything was like, it's not looking good for the heroes right now. Then you have the Nomus flying around. So you got the big old giant villain, that's the size of a mountain, his damn self. Then you have the Nomus flying around. So you have all of these different components that the heroes have to deal with, and you like, what's gonna go down? Like, what's that's always my question when I watch anime. Like, how are they gonna get out of this? No matter what the situation is, that's always the question that I have when I'm watching, anime, like especially Battle Shonen. How are the heroes going to get out of this? That's always the question I have, And then this one, Lemillion, he comes up from the ground, because he could phase through stuff. So he phases, like, he comes up from the ground, and he just, starts, knocking out the Nomus, and I'm just like, yo, he back in the building, baby. And then, we get a little flashback of Eri, helping Lemillion, get his quirk back. And he felt bad just having to use her to help him get it back. He felt like, he's like, Eri, I'm sorry I had to use you to get my power back. And she was like, nah, don't even worry about it. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, nah. So yeah, so we got Best Genius, he came back. Then we got my man Lemillion. So, yeah, but that's always a great thing when like a beloved character always comes back in anime. It's always a great thing when a beloved character comes back in anime. So in this moment, I like the return of Best Genius and the return of my man Lemillion. So yeah, that was yeah. That's what I say, man. Season 6 had me on the edge of my seat with every episode, man. Then another thing I wanted to talk about was when Deku and the previous One for All users was talking. Then we have, Shigaraki's grandmother. She asked Deku this question. Oh, how is your resolve? Are you going to be able to kill Shigaraki? You know what I'm saying? And basically the previous users was like basically talking to Deku, about they have to get rid of All for One, and whatever, and he's he's bad business. So they were just basically talking about telling Deku about basically getting him ready, psychologically, of like how you gonna deal with All for One. And just basically, and then you had some other two. At first, the other two it was two previous one for all users that was in the corner. They didn't really, at first they was like, nah, we ain't finna participate, we ain't finna help Deku, or whatever the case. And it's like they had to, the other ones that wanted to help Deku, they had to really coax them to get them to, cause they didn't believe in Deku at first. Like, yo, we supposed to, put all our hopes and dreams on this kid. On, what I'm saying? So there was, that whole thing, and the other ones was, had to really get them on board, because like I said, at first they didn't trust Deku at all. So yeah. And another talking point I want to speak, and I like how, Deku was able to, after they come to an understanding, all of the previous users, Deku was able to talk to them and like kind of communicate with them, from that's crazy. Like they would come out and, like, say for instance, he would have to use Black Whip for a situation, and the previous user, he would have come out and he would tell him the one that was Black Whip's quirk, he would come out and talk to Deku. Or the one that was, oh, I have the quirk to float, the guy's quirk that was to float, he would come out and talk to Deku. So him actually having a conversation while he was out there doing his thing, he would have different conversations with them, or they would talk to him all together while he was, just whatever. And I thought that was just so cool, man. Kind of similar to, like, the whole the inner demon trope of shonen or whatever, to where you could, talk to your inner demon or whatever. And then it's like, they would come, so that was kind of similar in a way, that he could talk to them, and they would come out, have a little silhouette, and they would come out and talk to him. So I like that part. I like that part of it, man. So yeah. And then how about when Dabi, how about when my man Dabi, he revealed his identity, that he's Toya Todoroki, that he was really Endeavor's oldest son. And then this man did a pre-recorded stream, and basically told the whole world that my dad is Endeavor. He was a piece of, he was a terrible father. He was a terrible guy, just straight terrible to his family. So my man Dabi, he was basically just telling, the people the society that Endeavor, he's not he's not that, y'all think, oh, he's a hero, he's saving everybody, but like, bro, y'all don't know, like, behind closed doors, my dad was a freaking monster, bro. So yeah. And we see, bro, then Dobby's backstory, man. That's one of those things, man. And at this point, I've come accustomed to seeing anime backstories, good or bad, whatever the case may be. But yeah, and in this case, Endeavor, he wanted, Dobby to be the one. Oh, you're going to be the one to defeat All Might and yada yada yada. So I'm gonna train you, da 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 da. So he metaphorically lit the fire up on the Toya or Dobby, whatever. He lit the fire up on the Toya, and he was like, yeah, but he lit the fire up under him metaphorically, but he didn't train him. He got him all hype and all excited to train with his powers and all that stuff, yada yada yada. But he left him. He didn't train. And he was like, he was telling his wife to, watch out for Toya. Don't let him do whatever, da 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 da. Because Toya's powers came, it came with a double-edged sword. Yes, your powers were stronger than your flames were stronger than your dad's, but your flames would also harm yourself. Like you'd be training and you would have, burn marks on your body or whatever. So it was kind of like, counterintuitive, so to speak. So, and, and like Endeavor, he just didn't watch him, man. He didn't take the time to nurture that. You gonna get your son hyped up. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a hero like my dad. I'm gonna be the number one hero, take down All Might or whatever. But you didn't nurture that. You didn't nip that in the bud. And then you tried to put it on your wife to be like, don't let him do this, don't let him do that. And it's like, yo, y'all both gotta work. You can't put it all on her. Yeah, you gotta go out there and be a hero, save people, da 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 da. But you can't put it all on her to be like, oh yeah, you have to make it while I'm not here. You have to make sure, whatever. He's not breaking the rules or whatever. So, and then she, after that, it was one night, and like, bro, my thing is, like I said, he just didn't nurture it, and then he wanted to put it all on his wife. And it's like, bro, y'all have to both work together. You can't put it all on her, and then you traumatized her, with George, with how you treated her, and then she taking it out on the kids or whatever. So she's, she's going through mental turmoil, emotional turmoil, and on top of that, y'all have a son that's, he's not being looked after properly. His dad is like, got him all excited, and now he's just like fixated on being a hero, training every day. He wants to train and do all this stuff, and then he goes off into the forest and trains by himself, and he goes too far, and he basically burnt down the forest. So, and yeah, man. So when you talk about Dobby's backstory or Toya's back, like, it is just not good, man. Just not good. Just not good, man. And it's like, not good. It's like, yo, we see Endeavor. He's made great strides on, turning over a new leaf, but like, like, dude, like, yeah, you can't just erase your past, like, you know. So it's like, yo, yeah, you did not handle this situation at all. You did not handle it good enough at all, man. You did not. You did not. You know, and you were so fixated on All Might. It's like, oh, if Toya, he failed to live up to your expectations, then after the whole, after the whole fire thing, then he's abandoned, and you have multiple kids, and your main goal is, oh yeah, I'm gonna just have kids so I can, so they can defeat All Might, and so I can, then so they can surpass All Might. And then you like, oh, I don't love my wife. She's just there so I can have kids with somebody, and so I can use her for her quirk, because her quirk is, ice. Then my quirk is fire. And it's like, you bought your wife from her family. They kind of sold her to you, bro. So it's like, when you really think about it, man, you have the situation of him buying his wife from her family. Then you having kids with this lady. Like, you don't really care about her for real. You only care about, oh, I'm gonna have kids that has the mixture of fire and ice quirk, so they could be strong enough to take down so they could be strong enough to take down All Might. So it's just one of those things where you look at the whole Todoroki family as a whole. It's like, bro, when you think about the Todoroki family, and we've seen a lot of crazy anime families, the Todoroki family has to be one of the craziest anime families, man, out there. It has to be. So it's, and then you go from Toya, and you go from Shoto, and yeah, like, so you think about Toya, and you think about the mom, and you think about Shoto, what he has to go through, and all of them, really, all of them. But I feel like the mom, Toya, and Shoto got it the worst. So you think of all that, man. Yeah, the Todoroki family has to be, one of the worst anime families, man. Cause so, but yeah, man. When you oh man. But and in the hospital, when you see Endeavor, like, him actually break down and cry, it's like you have some sympathy for him, but then you always go back to it, like, dude, you were kind of a monster, bro. Like, I mean, I get it. You're being very remorseful, because that scene in the hospital, him crying, breaking down, and his family coming and him crying in front of him, it's like it was kind of like tough to watch, because you see Endeavor, this big tough dude, this big strong dude, like number one hero, and then you like, yo, in this moment he soft as tissue, man. So it's like that moment, man, I was like, yo. And then, how about when Deku, he leaves UA, and he leaves UA to protect his teachers and his classmates, and he becomes Vigilante Deku. And Vigilante Deku, man, I wish they stayed on it a little bit longer, because Vigilante Deku, like, that's yeah. That's yo. Vigilante Deku was hard. He was hard. He was cold. He looked so badass with the vigilante in his Vigilante Deku, like the whole outfit and everything. Like I loved it, man. I loved it, man. And I loved it, man. And then he comes in contact with one of the hired guns. He takes him down quick. Then and then even cause then All Might was watching from the back. He was watching, watching in the background, like, yo, he took down one of the hired guns, without flinching. Then he goes and he fights Lady Nagat, and that was a top tier fight in the season. Like, Lady Nagat, man, she's, sniper extraordinaire, probably one of the best snipers in anime. Cause there's a lot of snipers out there in anime. So she might be one of the best. But yeah, she kept Deku on his toes in that battle. Cause, Deku is a very, he's one of the smartest anime characters, but he definitely had to put it all together in that fight. Cause yeah. And Lady Nagat, man, she was dissatisfied with the Hero Safety Commission, cause they was doing some dirty stuff, doing some dirty tactics, some dirty maneuvers, that she wasn't really down with, So she, lets All For One, use her, she's become a hired gun, so she's chasing down Deku, and but yeah, so Deku and Lady Nagat, man, like I said, that fight I enjoyed it, and seeing how Deku, it wasn't just no cakewalk, not for that one. He had to, in this whole vigilante arc, Deku, he was tired, he was worn out, he was, because he wanted everybody to stay away from him. He wasn't sleeping, he was barely eating, he just wasn't himself, man. He was a shell of himself. But seeing Deku on this little one-man journey, I enjoyed it. But seeing him fight, Lady Nagat, and seeing him have to maneuver against her sniper ability, and her also having to deal with Deku's speed, because Deku was fast. He's very fast. And so he had to maneuver against her sniper bullets, because she can literally make bullets from her hair. So he had to pull out he had to maneuver against her sniper bullets, and she had to maneuver against his speed, and so it was, I like that, and you have the ideology of Deku, like, yo, she was, trying to, tell Deku, about whatever. And then he was like, yo, I'm still gonna save. I'm gonna look out for everybody. I'm gonna save everybody. And, cause she was trying to tell him, the safety commission, it's crooked, whatever. And Deku was like, yo, I'm still gonna ride with the heroes. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna save everybody. I'm gonna change things, stuff like that. And she was just like, nah, because so she was so brainwashed by All For One. She was like, yo, I'd rather have a world where All For One is the supreme leader. That's better than the safety commission and their BS. So it's like, yo. Then she had on top of that, she had airwalk, and she's a sniper. So come on, man. She had airwalk and she was a sniper. So yeah, Deku, he had a lot to deal with against Lady Nagat. Like, she was not no pushover for Deku. So yeah, man. Yeah, like I say, man, season 6 is, man, such a great season, bro. Then you got another talking point. Then you got Deku versus Class 1A. Deku versus Class 1A. And the fandom wouldn't say it was a versus. It was more of an intervention, because Deku, like, yo, if he would have kept going the way he was going, he wouldn't have survived much longer. Like, he wouldn't have survived much longer, you know. So Deku and Class 1A, they just basically was like, yo, intervention, bro. You need an intervention, because right now we get it, you know, we understand it, but yo, we worried about you, fam. Like, we worried, dog. We worried. So it, you know, it really wasn't no fight. It was an intervention, and it was basically saying, Deku, don't you remember all the good times we had as a class? Because you have, you know, they was just basically telling Deku, pretty much each classmate was telling him about the moments that he helped them or they helped each other. And it's like, yo, what about the times we had at the sports festival, at the such and such? You helped me with this class, you helped me with this assignment or whatever. So that was basically like, yo, Deku, man, you gotta come back to UA. And you know, but he was resistant. He was resistant. Of course he was, because he was like, I'm trying to protect y'all. But in the end, he eventually came back to them. Came back to school with them. But yo, how about Bakugo finally apologizes to Deku? All this time, since season one, Bakugo was just bullying Deku all the time. Just, you know, talk down on him, belittle him, you know, just, you know, not showing him no kind of respect, because, oh, you ain't got no quirk, so I don't respect you. But then Bakugo, he reveals that he was like, bro, I apologize. I'm sorry for how I treated you. And he was like, man, you ain't have no quirk, but I still, you know, I still look down on you, and I'm sorry for doing it. And, you know, he was very apologetic, and he was like, yo, truth be told, I felt inferior to you, you know. And we see Bakugo from season 1 from all the way to season 6. Like, that was when you talk about character development. Like, yo, you talk about character development in anime, that's one of the greatest character development moments. And you have a culmination of his character from season 1, everything we saw from season 1, then from season 6, it's like, it's a combination of everything. So it's like, yo, Bakugo, man, is a great cat, because start off very unlikable character. Then you be like, oh, season 3, season 4, season 5, then you get season 6, then you say, boom, no apology. So yeah, Bakugo apologizing to Deku, and he did it in front of everybody. So him doing it while everybody was there trying to intervene with Deku, that was perfect. So everybody can see it, you know. So I loved it, man. I loved it. That's what I say, man. This season was top tier season, bro. This season 6 was a top tier, man. Top tier. My next talking point, my girl Uraraka. My girl Uraraka, man. Her speech in support of Deku when they tried to go back to UA, and then the people was like, no, we can't let Deku in here, da 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 da. We can't let Deku in here, da 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 da, because they was afraid, fearful, or whatever. So yeah, they was not trying to let Deku in there, and then she floats above, she floats high in the sky, and she gets a megaphone, and she talks to the people, to the crowd, man. She talks to the people, and like you can see, man, because like in this moment, and this was the perfect person to do it though, because this was the perfect person to do it because she had and seeing how much she cares for Deku, and seeing how much her and Deku has been through, and she's one of Deku's closest out of everybody. She's one of the closest ones to Deku out of the class. So yeah. So my girl having that moment to speak to the crowd in support of Deku, I loved it, man. My girl, cause and she was begging and pleading for them, man. Like, yo, like, do y'all not see this man, bro? Do y'all not see like what he's been through? But they didn't care. So she had to really break down the wall for them. Like, at first they was apprehensive, but she was not giving up, man. She was, begging and pleading, to like, yo, let him back in, because he's one of us, and he's done so much work, even in his vigilante, he's done a lot, even if he's a vigilante, he's against the heroes or whatever it is, having all these preconceived notions just because he's out here, he's a vigilante, and they having their distrust of the heroes. And yeah, speaking of that, they at this point during Uraraka's speech, they was not messing with the heroes, man, and a lot of heroes even retired. So at this point, the public perception of heroes was down in the toilets. They were not on good terms with the citizens. So a lot of heroes even quit, you know what I'm saying? And they was just, the public did not trust the heroes anymore. Then you have all these, all these offshoots groups that tried to protect themselves against the villains, the League of Villains. And like, dude, so it was pure pandemonium in the town, in the cities, so, but Uraraka, man, she stayed down. She did what she had to do, and in support of Deku, and not just the main focus on this moment is Deku, but her speech overall, it changed the perception, because it changed the perception, just like when Dabi, when he did his pre-recorded live stream or whatever, that's what made it fall. The perception of the heroes fell soon as Dabi cut on that pre-recorded live stream And then you have Uraraka, her speech kind of tilted the pendulum in a different way onto the side of the good guys. So you have Dobby doing his speech, his pre-recorded live stream. It made the public distrustful of the heroes. Then you have Uraraka coming back in a couple episodes later to swing the pendulum back into the favor of the heroes. So I like that. I like that, man. And yeah, I like that. And then my next talking point, man. Shout out to Stain. Because he motivated All Might. He gave him that encouragement. Because All Might, he was down in the dumps, and he was upset about the whole, the Midoriya situation. Him, Deku pulling away from All Might, so he was upset about the whole situation, how society has crumbled. And he just like, oh my God, he was just depressed about the whole situation. Then you see Stain, who broke out of prison when Shigaraki went to Tartarus and was breaking dudes out of prison. So Stain, he was also broke out of prison. Then he came to All Might, and so he was basically encouraging All Might to keep going, to don't let this situation get the best of you, keep going, you All Might. And Stain even showed All Might the last woman All Might saved before he effectively retired. Stain showed him the woman, because she was there cleaning off of the All Might statue with the anti-hero groups was, they was desecrating the All Might statue. So she was there cleaning up the All Might statue, and Stain showed All Might the lady who was there, and All Might was surprised, like, yo, this was the last lady I saved. He was like, oh my God, like, so yeah. And to see Stain do that, of all people, you would think another hero would motivate All Might, or Deku would come motivate All Might, or anybody else. But Stain was the last person you would expect to in this moment to come and motivate All Might. But then you go back to all the way to the beginning of the series. Stain he's had a very strong respect for All Might. One of the few heroes he respected, because Stain, he was like, yo, if you're gonna be a hero for the right reasons. Don't be a hero and then be a hero for all the wrong reasons. Be a hero because you gonna stand up for what's right. Don't be a hero just for the money. So but in this moment, yeah, Stain, he motivated All Might to keep going, and and he even gave All Might some information that he got from Tartarus. So, and in this moment, you would probably I've seen a lot of people say in the My Hero Academia community, oh yeah, Stain might even be a more of an All Might fan than Deku. So yeah, but yeah, in that moment it was unexpected, because we didn't expect, or I didn't expect to see Stain do that for All Might. Lift up his spirits. I didn't expect that. But when you look back in hindsight, and go back through the series, Stain, yeah, he's one of um the few anti-heroes or whatever, villains or whatever you want to call them, that really respected All Might, and he has his own way of doing things. Yeah, I would say Stain is an anti-hero. I don't look at Stain as a villain. Yeah, I look at him as like an anti-hero. But I enjoyed that moment of Stain doing that, and then him giving that information from Tartarus to All Might. You know, so in a way, Stain, he's helping with the efforts to take down Shigaraki and All for One. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, man, and that's gonna do it for me today. On this episode of the podcast, it's gonna do it for me today. But before I get out of here, I want to say, man, be on the lookout, because I will be talking about season 7. I will be talking about season 7. So be on the lookout for that. Just want to wait for for all the episodes to come out first, and but yeah, I will be talking about season 7. But yeah, season 6 of My Hero Academia is, yeah, if you're talking about new gen anime arcs, it's one of the best, man. Even if you're talking about anime arcs as a whole, not just new gen, it's one of the best, man. And yeah, everything was pretty much perfect for me. I didn't, I enjoyed it. And for my first time to put My Hero Academia on the podcast, what a season I chose to put on the podcast, man. So, but yeah, like I said, I will be talking about season 7, so be on the lookout for that. And I gotta ask, my question before I get out of here: what did you guys think about My Hero Academia season 6? What did you guys think of My Hero Academia season 6? So, this has been your host, Rashad of the Variety Pack Podcast, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I am out of here.